Hello friends, welcome to Dr. Vet channel. I am Dr. P.R. Patel, Professor of Veterinary Medicine. We have already seen verminous bronchitis part 1. In part 2, we will study epidemiology, pathogenesis, clinical findings of important endoparasitic disease, that is verminous bronchitis. Epidemiology of verminous bronchitis. The epidemiology factors of disease depends on number of infective larvae on pasture. If the number of infective pasture contain more number of larvae, it manifests acute disease. If number of infective larvae on pasture is less and gradually the animal get infected, the infection is either subacute or chronic. The young animals are more susceptible, but all ages are affected. Young animals suffer from more serious disease, acute disease. Adults suffer from chronic disease or mild form disease. The adult remain asymptomatic carrier and they are very dangerous. They are the main source of infection to the healthy animal because they are continuously go on shedding the eggs or larva. Continue the epidemiology. There is a immunity to reinfection. So once the animal get infected and solid immunity, there is no chance of reinfection. The development of larva requires suitable moisture and temperature. So these larvae required warm, humid climate. The disease is common in countries where there is a high rainfall because the larvae are sensitive to desiccation. If the area becomes dry, the larva will die. Pathogenesis of verminous bronchitis. The pathogenic effect of the parasite depends on mainly three factors. Location of worm within the respiratory tract. If the worms are located in a very important part that causes trouble in respiration, alveoli bronchi, that is a more pathogenic effect. Second factor, number of infective larvae ingested. More number of larvae are ingested at a time. It causes very serious and severe disease. Less number of larvae produce subacute or chronic infection. And the animal's immune status is the third factor. Once the animal get infection, there are less chances of the reinfection because of the immunity. The pathogenic phases are divided into three parts: pre-patent phase, patent phase, and post-patent phase. Pre-patent phase means infection to either infective larva or infective egg. That period is called as pre-patent. Right from infection to the laying of infected egg or larva. Patent means a adult form. They are laying eggs. And post-patent means that is a recovery phase from the disease. Now the pathogenesis of pre-patent phase means infection to laying of infective larva or infective egg. The main reason is blockage of bronchiole. The parasite site of predilection is bronchiole. When they infest bronchiole, the body will react. There is an infiltration of eosinophil in response to the developing larvae. And this results into obstruction of airways, especially bronchioles. There is emphysema of lung. Tachypnea, respiration is shallow and fast. And characteristic symptom is coughing because lot of secretion of mucus leads to coughing. And this acute stage is very severe. So death may occur. And that is due to severe interstitial emphysema and pulmonary edema. Pathogenesis of patent phase. Those animals survive. The adult parasite in trachea and bronchi. Parasite cause severe damage to epithelial cells. There is exudation and blockage of bronchi. Now from bronchiole, the parasites make their location into bronchi. Important pathology is catarrhal parasitic bronchitis. Catarrhal, secretion of plenty of mucus. There is an aspiration of this larva and eggs into the bronchiole and alveoli. Adults are in bronchi. The larva and eggs are aspirated further to bronchiole and alveoli. And they produce pathology there is epithelialization, proliferation of epithelium, of alveolar epithelium and hyaline membrane formation. This epithelialization is important pathology. The overall pathology is development of chronic pathological lesions, non-suppurative, eosinophilic, granulomatous pneumonia. In response to eggs and first stage larvae, those are aspirated into alveoli and bronchi. These aspirated eggs and first stage larvae causes a chronic reaction, non-suppurative, because there is no infection at present, no bacterial infection, eosinophilic infiltration, and that reaction is granulomatous, laid down the fibrous tissue and cause a chronic non-suppurative eosinophilic granulomatous pneumonia. This is a serious condition. Pathogenesis of post-patent phase means it is a surviving or recovery phase. The animal survives and the recovery begins. The adult worms are in segmental or lobar bronchi and cause a bronchitis. And due to this, there is reaction to the parasite. There is formation of cellular exudate. They contain eosinophils, plasma cells, and lymphocytes. So there is cellular exudate there is frothy mucus. Mucus is there because of the inspiration and expiration and movement of air cause frothiness in the mucus. And the adult nematodes are found in the lumen of the bronchi. There is a bronchial irritation due to movement of the worm and due to inflammation due to movement of the mucus also. And that leads to a characteristic symptom is a marked coughing, and there is increased airway resistance or obstruction. The pathology is interstitial emphysema, pulmonary congestion and edema, and then secondary bacterial infection supervene. And this secondary bacterial infection causes complication, and due to this complication there may be a death. The animal, those survived, may suffer from considerable weight loss and they are progressively emaciated. Clinical findings: the signs of lungworm ranges from a simple light moderate coughing with a mild increased respiratory rate or slight dyspnea to a severe persistent coughing and severe respiratory distress. So from very mild to very severe symptoms are occur. Most common symptoms are coughing and dyspnea, respiratory distress. There is a reduced weight gain, reduction of milk production, there is a weight loss and emaciation. The clinical findings are divided into three forms: acute, subacute, and a subclinical form. The subclinical form, the animal have an infection, they act as a carrier, and they shed continuously the infection to the healthy animal. Now we will see the clinical findings of acute and subacute form. We have seen the pathogenesis, we have seen the life cycle and other consequences. So if you digest that thing, pathogenesis, to understand the clinical finding is very easy. Now clinical finding in a acute form, it is a severe form, and that occurs because large number of worms enter into the body in a short period, manifest acute form. There is a rapid shallow abdominal breathing because of the obstruction, severe coughing because irritation of parasite, inflammation in the respiratory tract, and because of the movement of this secretion cause irritation. There is nasal discharge, low grade fever, or sometime it is high. Another characteristic symptom is severe dyspnea, a great dyspnea, great distress. So two symptoms are very much important: coughing and severe dyspnea. Dyspnea to such an extent that animal compelled to take mouth breathing, animal make respiration with opened mouth. The head and neck is stretched for the ease of respiration. There are respiratory heaves, just like emphysema, great effort for the respiration, that is aspiration reeves. And when animal have a great discomfort, the animal make a sound, a grunting sound. There is cyanosis because of the anoxia. Finally, there is recumbency in acute cases and animal death and case fatality rate is very high. Death is due to anoxia. Clinical findings in subacute form, and this subacute form is common in young animals, and chronic or subclinical form is common in adult and immune animals. The signs are comparatively less severe than the acute form. Increased respiration rate and depth of respiration. There is expiratory grunt, means animal makes a grunt sound during expiration. The animal closed the vocal cords and then all of a sudden open it and make expiration. That is expiratory grunt. There is paroxysmal coughing, all of a sudden, and frequent coughing, that is paroxysmal. Presence of abnormal lung sounds, especially rales, and here the rales are moist rales. There is loss of body weight. If there is bacterial infection, there is bacterial pneumonia. Mortality is comparatively less than the acute form, and clinician can hear the lung sounds and the portion of the lung lobular lobes are affected. Friends, share this information to veterinary and veterinary students, veterinary clinicians to enrich their knowledge so that veterinary students can appear for competitive examination for service. Requested to subscribe this channel for the progress of the channel. Thank you very much for observing the video. Next time we'll come with part 3.